Do it better, do better. Welcome, everyone. It is your boy, El Parcero Philly, and welcome, everyone, to DOOP By The show where we follow everything Philadelphia, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Of course, today I am joined by my man, Mr. Justin Freiberg. Justin, how you feeling today, man? It's just you and me, man. We're just gonna roll without Tim, but hey, we hope we can do a solid job. But how you doing, man? Welcome.
As always, can't complain. It's been a relatively quiet week in like Union Land and basically sports land. It's been pretty quiet overall. But no, I mean, as I always say, another day you wake up is another beautiful day.
Exactly, my man. Another beautiful day, exactly, to wake up here. Absolutely, man. Look, I mean, for me personally, it's been a while. I'm sure you've heard everything that's been going on. Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz. He's finally gone. A lot of people wanted him gone out of Philly. He's finally gone. And then now I have to deal with all these Negadelphians and calling Carter Hart out of Philadelphia already, calling him the next Carson Wentz. So I'm happy to be talking to Philadelphia Union. This is always a pleasure for me to be talking Philadelphia.
Nice distraction, eh?
Yes, much needed distraction for sure. Well, Justin, before we move forward here today, of course, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you're watching us on Twitter, on the Duke by the River Twitter account, or if you're watching us on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, thank you so much. Guys, don't forget, if you are watching on Twitter, if you catch this here, make sure to follow the account. Make sure to share it as well. Like, hey, there's this new Union podcast out there, and they're actually not bad. They're not bad over there, so make sure to give us a little follow there as well. All the visual portions of this also will be on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to that as well. If you guys want to stream the podcast, you're not feeling like checking us out, watching our handsome faces, hey, it's okay. No hard feelings. Just head on over to PSN Radio. Wherever you stream podcasts, we have all those podcasts there for you guys to listen to. So definitely check it out over there.
I know this bald head can be a lot to handle, so I understand you just want to listen to my voice and not be blinded by the sheen.
Well, hey, Justin, you had some great nicknames the last 2 days, and we get Justin Freiberg today. Come on, man. We had Baldinho. What was the last one you had last week?
What's it? The last two were Baldinho and Dr. QBQ.
Hey, we bring the nicknames here. That's fast for sure. We bring the nicknames.
I'll come up with one. I'll come up with one.
Sounds good. Sounds good. You're turning into Apollo Creed over there. All right, guys. Let's dive into the episode today. And look, let's be honest here, guys. There's not much to talk about. So this is going to be a free flowing. It's going to be a nice free flowing podcast episode. And we're just here to have fun. We're here to talk soccer. We're here to have a little fun. Shouts to Ty. Missed the past couple games, but I'm back. Hey, we're happy to have you, man. We're happy to have you here. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. But to start it off, ladies and gentlemen, we want to head right into CONCACAF Champions League. Listen, we are so excited. We're counting down the days now to CONCACAF Champions League, and it'll be great. Baseball starts April 1st with the Phillies, and then you move 6 days later, you have the Philadelphia Union in their first ever CONCACAF Champions League game. April 7th, they will head down to Costa Rica to face off against Deportivo Saprissa. It will be a 6 o'clock kickoff down in Saprissa. I'm trying to get the name of the ground here. So the ground is called Ricardo Saprissa Stadium.
Which used to be the national team stadium for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, I would assume so if they are, as Jim Curtin phrased them as, the Manchester City, the Manchester United of Costa Rica. I'm looking at this stadium. It's actually really pretty. It looks very modern. It kind of gives me a little Orlando City, but more space, especially on the ends there where the crowd can see over the skyline, I'm assuming. But it is located in San Juan, San Jose in Costa Rica. So it should be a lot of fun. Look, I mean, Justin and I, we can attest this. We wish we could go travel down to Costa Rica. Unfortunately, with the situation that is, it is a little difficult to traveling these days, but we're getting close.
You mean we can't sneak into Jim Curtin's suitcase? You take Jim Curtin's suitcase, I'll take Bedoya's. We'll sneak our way in, and we'll deal with the consequences later.
Hey, Justin, I don't think you want to be in a Costa Rican jail. I don't know, man. They might like that bald head of yours. But no. That's going to be April 7th, and then of course 7 days later. Hey, listen, it's going to be a tough travel down there, but hey, coming up to Chester into the Philadelphia area, it is not going to be easy. Hey, listen, you might not understand what we're saying. We're going to call you a bum a couple of times, but hey, hopefully we can have some.
Yeah, can you do it in a cold night in Chester? Is that what
That is right. That's right. That cold could be a factor. April's tricky. April, you either get a nice, beautiful spring day, or it still feels like the winter. So
Yeah,
hopefully that day is a winter day.
April's one of those weird days where like you like because I've had tickets now for like 5-6 years, and even in April I've worn long sleeves and jeans, and it's like it could be till like the end of April where you're wearing where like you could have basically 2 months of the season where it's freezing cold, and then
Right.
May it's like, oh, it's nice weather for a month, and then it's like bam, swampy summer.
Hey, that's right. That is right, man. So it should be a lot of fun here. Hopefully, it is a cold day. I mean, of course, guys, we're gonna get into some full coverage of this, but like as of right now, man, what are you feeling when you get closer to CONCACAF Champions League, man?
The closer we get, the more the realization is setting in that, oh my God, what the Union did last season was real. Like, we did it. We're playing in a bigger competition. That's not the US Open Cup. It's not MLS playoffs. It's not Campeones Cup. It's CONCACAF Champions League.
That's right.
Like, it's if you would have told me, like I said, I remember where I was for the Union first game. I was there. I was there against DC. I was right under the DC supporter section, and I remember thinking that day, and they won. It was like, but like, remember that season? I went to the first 3 games. I were at the link and going, like, oh boy, this team might be kind of for a bit. Never thinking, we're gonna sell players for $5-6 million. We're gonna get a trophy. We're gonna play a team from Costa Rica, and not just because it's a summer friendly that we're doing. It's like, it's real. It's happening. It's I like, the more I think about it, the more I just feel it just like I'm always at a loss for words, because like, listen, in Philadelphia, Johnny, you know this more than anyone. We're conditioned to really think that, things are going great until the other shoe drops, and that we're not going to play well, or we're going to lose in the finals, or
Look at the Eagles. We just had a franchise QB. We literally just ruined it. That should just tell you everything how it works in Philly.
Yeah, like we have a potential franchise goalie in Carter Hart that we might run out of town because we think he's now the next coming of Antero Nitamaki. It's like, here we go again. But it's still like, every time I think about it, I still can't believe it, because everyone thinks, oh, like, entering the league now, it's, you're Atlanta LAFCs, you can hit the ground running and qualify right away and get all these flashy signings. It's like, no one remembers, because the Union were in that weird MLS 1.0/2.0
Right.
round where it was still relatively cheap to buy a team. It was basically considered a retirement league, and like, it was like when you were a expansion team, it was like, you're gonna suck for a few years.
You were drafting players too, and
you were drafting players at one point. Like, everyone's heard the stories that how the MLS Reserve League back in the day essentially was like, it was a joke that the LA Galaxy had to try to field a team with like partially front office staff. Like, it's like everyone heard those things, and to where the leagues come to to this point, and where the Union have come since they've been in the league, it still blows my mind. And that's what I love about it. Like, as stunned as we are, it's happening. It's real.
Right. It's definitely great. I mean, I agree with you. It's going to be a sentimental day, and I just wanted to look it up real quick. It is a Wednesday, Both games will be on a Wednesday, April 7th and April 14th. So a nice little midday game. A midweek game for the CONCACAF Champions League. And look, you just said it. Like, we went through 10 years of just pure mediocrity. And as a Philly sports fan, we don't take mediocrity. Like, we call you out on your BS. And finally, the Union have found like this model of excellence in and this new era of MLS soccer, where, like you said, we're not buying, we're not a retirement home for you anymore. You want to come here and you want to just breeze by this league. You're not going to last very long. Like, now you're starting to see some guys. Chicharito really is on the hot seat. That's the guy who really comes to my mind. He's really on the hot seat this season with the LA Galaxy, but. No, I mean, this is, to me, this is going to be one of the fruits of our labor. Like, we created this new model, and now we get to compete in this prestigious tournament, guys. Like, especially in America, I don't think we really understand, because we're not used to continental tournaments, because there's no offense with soccer. Other sports are not as global as soccer. But being able to say we are the best team in our continent, that is, in the world of soccer, that is such a huge prestige and honor, and the Union will be able to represent not only the beautiful Philadelphia area, we should say. We should stop calling it that. It's Chester. It's the Philadelphia area that they are representing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I might be getting a little emotional, especially when I see the Union walking out there. And we have an anthem, right? We have a CCL anthem. I haven't really
It's
been.
It's not as
Prestigious as the
European. I wish I could get as high pitched as Adam does when he says that, but yeah, no, it's not as prestigious or glorious. It's more probably. I think there actually is one. I just don't know what it is.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I mean, we got a really good question here, Justin, and I think this guy has been really supportive of us, and I want to give this to you, man. Your give me a dark horse in the East and in the West. Let's narrow it to that. And shouts to you, AK Gaming. Thank you for the great questions as always.
A dark horse in the East. That's a good one. That's a good one. Right on my head. The dark horse in the West, I definitely could say would probably be. I'm going to say the Galaxy.
In the West?
I'm genuinely curious what Greg Vanney is going to do with that roster.
Same.
It's because, like I said, we've talked about it before. Like he's known for a few things. He's known for signing mid notable talent. And, he brought in a Michael Bradley, a Josie Altidore, a Giovinco, a Pozuelo. He's known for promoting some young talent, and the Galaxy are starting to have that.
Right.
And I hope, and with a guy like with Chicharito, hasn't had a past couple of years, but like there's a reason why Manchester United wanted him. There's a reason why he went to Bayer Leverkusen. There's a reason he was brought back. Like, he has a pedigree. He's a good striker. He's a goal poacher, and his instincts are usually pretty good in the box. So I would have to imagine.
What system would work best for Chicharito, though?
I think if they bring back Christian Pavon. From what I've heard, I think he's going to come back. It's been back and forth between LA and Boca as to whether is he on their roster, like who owes who what. It's been so back and forth. That's a kind of an iffy one. In the East, the East is a little tougher because the East was definitely a tough one this year. I think if I'm going to do a dark horse, I think I might say Nashville again.
That's a good one.
Nashville. The biggest thing that was going for them was they were great defensively. I mean, you had Defender of the Year Walker Zimmerman. You had Dan Levitz on the left and Alistair Johnson on the right.
But they upgraded the forward line, no? Didn't they get some Uruguayan forward, or is it my dicey?
I don't know if he's Uruguayan. They've had a few they had a few guys that they signed come through that didn't really work out as good as they thought they were. But like I said, they have the good defensive spine. It was clear last year. They didn't give up a ton of goals. They also did.
Oh, they got your boy CJ.
Yeah, they signed CJ. Like they didn't give up a lot of goals, but they didn't score a lot of goals.
Okay, so
I think if they can improve on the offense, I think they might be a bigger threat. Like I said, the Union didn't play them last season, so I genuinely I caught a few of their games, and I was impressed how they beat Toronto, like how they went toe to toe with Columbus. Like they definitely surprised a lot of teams last year, and it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what they do this year.
All right, so the Uruguayan I was talking about was Rodrigo Pineda, who is a winger from Uruguay. He signed a contract through 2023. He's coming from Danubio FC, and I guess in Uruguay. So we'll see. Obviously, that's usually that's in the MLS world, a signing that you never heard of usually is a good signing, right? So he might be a good signing, but that's definitely great. And AK Gaming, these are great ones as well. He's got the Revs and the Rapids. Obviously, here in Philly, the Revs are still a little sore, but I see where you're coming from.
I don't know if the Revs are necessarily. They could be a dark horse. They definitely kind of kept in the back, but they did make a pretty good run, and so definitely think they're not going to be as caught. The teams are going to catch them off guard. The Rapids, I definitely think so. I definitely think I feel like they came up just short of what I was expecting, and it seemed like they were going to be a pretty good team last year, and they fell just short. I know they had a lot of COVID issues. So the Rapids, I definitely could see as a dark horse. That's actually a pretty good pick.
Absolutely, man. So Justin, right here on TikTok, Robert, the Eagles fan, would like to know how far do you think the Union will go this season?
In CCL or the league?
I believe it in the league because he's saying season, and I'm just going to assume that he's meaning the season here, right, Robert? We're meaning the season. Yeah, the season.
That's a good question. I definitely think it's interesting. I'm still hoping they make another signing, but
right.
Even given the roster they have, I don't see any reason why they're not finishing top 3 again. I definitely think the East is still a bit weak. I think Atlanta's gonna have they're gonna have Joseph back, but a new coach, you don't know what exactly is going to happen. Orlando seems to be retooling pretty big. But other than that, like maybe the Revs might sneak in there. But the East is so topsy-turvy again. It feels like the Union once again. There is no way they fall any farther than 4th. I would be genuinely shocked. Yes, they lost Brendan and they lost Mark.
Right.
But they had a pretty good roster outside of them. Like, there were games. how many games do we think about where Brendan was subbed off in like the 60th minute, and we brought on Elsinio, and people were like, "Well, what are they doing?" And it's like, you can only run around for so long. Like, it's kind of one of those things that, at what point, do you have to stop doing that? But we'll see. It's I'm curious, but yeah, I still think they're gonna have a decent season. I really think it's going to depend a lot of it on how everything is going on with Olympics and U.S. Open Cup and the Leagues Cup, whether they're still doing that. Like, there's so many question marks.
Yeah.
It's just such a compact season. That's a really tough one just because there's so many unknowns. We don't know the extent of when fans are going to be let back in, if we're going to have more COVID outbreaks. Like, people are still, getting vaccinated. And I'm fully vaccinated now. But, like, you don't know what's going to go on. Like, that's the thing. It's still a very up in the air situation, at least through August or September. Like, I don't think things are really going to change until like September.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, to answer Robert's question, you would think that for the Union, especially in the era that we're in, like the goal would be the conference championship. But when you look at this roster, I mean, you're missing two key pieces. Like Mark and Brendan were really integral of what we were doing as a soccer team. Now, I do think that we still have a good enough team. The depth does concern me. It really does. Because, Stuart Finley, he sounds like a great 25-year-old, does come from the Scottish Premiership, which I hold that league on a high regard. But again, he's an unknown. If something happens to Jakob or Jack, that's definitely a concern. Fontana has never been a starter, but I do believe in Fontana. And Paxton, listen, I've been hearing the hype of Paxton since 2019. I would like to see firsthand what he's going to look like. So those are definitely the question marks there for me. We still, from what we are understanding from the Union, they're going to look for someone to replace Brennan as far as depth goes. They're going to find a cheaper replacement. So we'll see. Look, anything can happen when it comes to playoffs. As we saw last year, the Union had the best season of their franchise's career, and we got bounced to the New England Revolution after beating them all those times in the regular season. So anything can happen. I think that for the Union, getting at least the second round again is a good season, despite what you just talked about, a compact season and whatnot. And you're going through a little turnover. Two key parts of your team are no longer here. So I'm saying second round. But thank you so much for that question, Robert. We really appreciate it. Let's move on to, of course, Justin. You know what time it is, baby. You know exactly what time it is, man. Everyone, every week here on DOOP by the River, we bring you a segment we like to call DOOP Across the Pond. The segment where we look at Union players overseas. Well, alums, I should say. But here on DOOP Across the Pond this week, of course, I'll give it to my man Justin here. Justin, Brendan Aronson again. I gotta relax. But Brendan Aronson is looking more and more like a gem. Let's go. Take it away, man. Start with Brendan. How'd he look? How'd they do?
Well, first off, I definitely think we got to come up with a little snippet. Anyone listening, if y'all can come up with a snappy little 10, 20 second little musical ditty for
we'll have to do a giveaway. That's what we'll have to do. We'll come up. Well, this is definitely good. I like this. So what we're gonna do, guys, after the show, we also want to consult with Tim. Tim is a big part of our podcast as well. So we're gonna consult as a team. We'll decide. But if you guys, and TikTok as well, if you guys want to come up with a way, and we'll put it on Twitter too. If you guys want to come up with a way to create some sort of a snippet, a little song, a little jingle, really quick, 5 to 10 seconds. For DOOP Across the Pond. Obviously, the premise of the segment is we're talking about Union players who are now playing overseas. We're expecting more and more Union players to be going overseas in the next couple of years. So whoever we'll come up with a prize. We'll definitely give you more details, but get the juices flowing. And start coming up with different ideas as far as a little snippet for DOOP Across the Pond. But take it away, nonetheless.
So Brendan had a really good game over the weekend. He unfortunately technically did not get on the score sheet. Salzburg won 4-2. But he basically had what you would call the hockey assist, which is the secondary assist on the first and third goals, which was the bookend of a hat trick by Pat Sandaka, Brendan's teammate, who I really think is one of the, since I started watching Salzburg, is one of the players who really has been looking good, and I think a player who might not be long for Salzburg. But Brendan on both goals. So the first goal, he gets played into the box, and he looks up and crosses it, and just kind of does a little pass to his teammate. Blanking on the name, if I can pull up the team sheet here. Let's pull up team sheet. It is squad. It was Mergim Berisha. Horribly butchered that name. 22-year-old from Germany. he passes it to Berisha, who kind of just like kind of flicks it on the Pats and Daka. It really kind of was like it was just a little move, and Daka was open. On the third goal, though, Brendan plays a spectacular ball to Berisha. I mean, through ball, all he perfectly was able to run onto it. And of course, Berisha squares it to Daka, who has a tap in for a hat trick. I mean, Brendan was all over the field. And once again, and I said this last pod, and I've said this before, I really think Brendan will not be at Salzburg past. So this is like a half season. I'm going to say by 2023, Brendan is on a new team. It could be even sooner. He's playing so well. He's adapted to this league so well. It's clear that like Salzburg's a perfect team because they're the team that's going to be at the top of the division. It's a tough league in terms of like gritty play, in terms of physical. But Brendan was used to that in the MLS.
Right.
And it's just up to another level. And I think if Brendan's starting to evolve the other pieces of his game. Now, he hasn't been shooting a lot, but he's taken some shots. But his vision is still the big thing. That's the reason why he made the move, was because of his amazing field vision and his relentless work rate. And it
does help too that he's American for his sale, and everyone is like looking for that next American.
Americans are in vogue, and I said this,
crazy.
Especially, and I don't think Jesse Martin's going to be at
much
longer, because prime example, and I said this last week, Marco Rosa took the job at Dortmund. There's a lot of rumors that, so really for Jesse Marsch, the only quote unquote upgrade would be to Leipzig. Well, Nagelsmann's not leaving anytime soon, as far as I'm aware. So if the Gladbach job opens up, that's Champions League. That's top 4 basically guaranteed. Why not go there? And I said this before Brendan moved to Salzburg. I said Gladbach would actually be a perfect team for Brendan to hop on. It's a team that, despite being a top 6 team in most seasons, like there's not as many, I don't want to say there's not many expectations, but it's definitely outside of that Bayern, that Dortmund, the Leipzig. Like it's a top team without like quote unquote the pressure of the top team. And I think he could thrive there. So again, I really don't think Brendan is going to be at Salzburg for very long.
I agree.
And it's because he is such a good player. And AK Gaming, Mourinho out or in? I've been telling a lot of my friends that are Tottenham fans, shouts to Devin Garcia from the Sons of Ben pod, and in the greatest leader of our Sons of Ben Discord chat. I told him there's a certain point, and being a Man U fan, there's a certain point in which Mourinho wears out his welcome. His style of coaching is 15, 20 years old. It's publicly berating players. It's trying to be a bully and try to get things done. And I mean, at least at other places, he won trophies.
Right.
He doesn't win anything at Spurs. I really think if they continue to, I think he'll last through the season, but he's definitely going to be on the hot seat for the next year if he makes it another year. So I'm leaning towards Mourinho out, but it's more like a 60-40 out right now. It's just over that threshold.
Jose Mourinho. Hey, come to the MLS. Yeah, we'll see what we got here. There was heavy rumors he was coming to Miami, and then obviously they didn't go that route.
With the Neville brother.
Well, how did Mark do? I'm hearing it's not looking so bright as it does. Not his play, but kind of the situation.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening with Genk. They're in third place. So most times you go, oh, they're playing. Well, at one point they were like within like 35 points of Club Brugge at the top. Now I think they're 3 points back a second, and then I think there's like a a 13 to 15 point gap between second and first. Like, it's all of a sudden Genk's not playing well. And thing is, Mark's been playing pretty good. Like, I've seen a lot of things. Like, he's blocking. One thing he was good with the Union was blocking shots. For center
Right.
back, he definitely seemed to be timing his runs perfectly. And now I think Genk. So normally they play in a back three, but I've been seeing a lot that they've been starting to switch to a back four.
Mm.
So I'm not sure why. I will say his teammate Carlos Cuesta has Tim and I have said has not had a good 2021. He's gotten several red cards. He was subbed off in the end of the first half in one game because he gave up 2 penalties. Like, I think Genk seems to be a hot mess right now for a team in third place. And I know it's not Mark's fault, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how it goes
Right.
over the remainder of the season. Just because, like, I mean, Mark went from a team that won a trophy to a team that's third place, but they're not exactly, things aren't exactly all roses at the moment.
Well, no, this is all. I mean, this is definitely a good learning experience for Mark as well. Like, let's face it, when here in Philadelphia, Jim, there was sustainability. He knew Jim wasn't going anywhere. Like, and he had this relationship with Jim. I mean, obviously, Jim was part of the youth academy at one point as well. He's seen Mark grow up as well. So now, this is the European soccer life. There's situations that are far worse than what's going on in Genk right now. So hopefully, he learns from this experience and this is probably not going to be the last time this happens for Mark, where he's in a situation that's maybe not ideal for him. But it's important for Mark to just put his head down, learn, be a sponge, learn as much as you possibly can. He's clearly skilled, he's clearly talented, and I'm a heavy believer in Mr. Mark McKenzie. Hey, good stuff here by our 2 boys overseas. And again, hopefully we can talk more Union players overseas in your favorite segment, ladies and gentlemen. Dupe across the pond. AK Gaming, you brought up this question. I'm glad you did. Is there any transfer rumors in the MLS? Well, right now we're going to move on to our next segment. We're just going to look ahead at some MLS news and notes. So I see here in the comments, like, hey, we got shouts to WTF fan. We talked the other night. He's an officially and a Chicago Fire fan. So if you guys are any Chicago Fire fans out there, make sure to welcome WTF fan there. He's getting into the MLS. He's a new fan, so awesome stuff there. But today's news and note, we kind of wanted to start off with the sad one here. Justin, man, this one really hurts, bro. Jordan Morris out for the season. We talked about this probably, what was it, a month ago, the loan move to Swansea. We were talking about how this guy fully deserved this opportunity to show what he had, or even if it was a championship. He deserved to show what he had, and he's had injury problems before, and it was a tearing of the ACL, right? We tore the ACL. And
I don't know if it's the same one he tore a few years ago, but yeah, he tore the ACL.
Really feel for the guy. He was getting this opportunity here, and more than likely his European dream is over. Maybe possibly his World Cup dreams are over as well. He's probably going to come back to Seattle. It's not a terrible situation coming back to a good thing that you had in Seattle. But Justin, man, dude, this really hurts.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jordan. Like we were talking about, like, the dude's battled through a lot. He has diabetes. He worked hard through that to, and he still has it. He takes insulin shots. He worked hard to manage it to be able to have a professional career. He's done really well in MLS, and he makes this move. And I mean, he had pretty good for the few games that he was playing. And yeah, he gets subbed on, and I didn't see the game, but I heard it was a non-contact injury, which is really scary. And that's when it's bad, is when it's a non-contact injury.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're talking at least 6 to 9 months. So right there, that rolls him out of the Gold Cup. That I'm going to say it takes him at least out of probably the first couple World Cup qualifying segments in September and October. Maybe he comes back for November's, depending on how that works. And then you would hope that, obviously, given that the 2022 World Cup is not till next November,
Right.
you would have plenty of time to recover. But it definitely does put a bit of a dent in, in those. I mean, he's one of those guys that like is that first like off the bench consideration for Berhalter. So I would say it's good. It's gonna be a short term derailment. I don't think it'll be a long term derailment. Now whether he goes back to Europe, God, I hope so. Like Jordan Morris is one of those guys. Like he's really a hard guy to dislike. Like he's a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's a hardworking player. He kind of keeps his head down, but he like his numbers seem to speak for themselves. So it's really a shame. But he'll bounce back. He bounced back from the last ACL tear, and it really does suck. But you know what, Jordan, our thoughts and prayers are with you to a full recovery, and I'm sure you'll be back playing. He's a determined guy, so he'll be back sooner rather than later, I think.
How long does it usually take for an injury like this to fully?
So it really does depend. My sister tore both ACLs and was a physical therapist. The average recovery time is about 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
6 months is being like really generous, unless you're like Adrian Peterson or like there's not many people that recover in the short term, like the short 6 months. Usually I'd say like 7.5 months. It's about like 6 to 9 months is a range. So I'd say, if you're saying like 7.5 months from now, you're talking October, November, him coming back realistically. So maybe if he comes back to Seattle most of the MLS season, maybe back for the playoffs.
Okay. Hey, we're here for Jordan. Hopefully everything turns out well for him. But hey, definitely a terrible situation. But we're hoping that he does have a speedy recovery. This next topic here I want to talk about. Look, we've been clowning one franchise in particular on this podcast, Justin. It's no secret here. FC Cincinnati has not been, they haven't come into the league the way they all expected. But this offseason kind of turned it around. And as of late, we've had some pictures coming out of Cincinnati showing us what has been going on. I'm going to put this one on the screen here for everyone to see. But it seems as if okay, so this I thought it was the real one, but Taylor Twellman. I'm gonna see if I can find that one. But Taylor Twellman put up a picture this past week of the new FC Cincinnati stadium. In the city, it seems like the picture. It seemed like the stadium was like clearly like almost done. Just a couple more details left. And I actually just got the picture, so let's go. Here we go, guys. Bear with me here. You guys are going to like what you see here because this is really, really nice. And generating. Here we go. So here is what Taylor Twellman put up. As you guys can clearly tell, a couple details left. This was obviously recently with all the snows going on in the north.
FC Cincinnati, FC Cincy Bowl? FC Red FC Cincinnati. I'm getting very Red Bull Arena vibe,
dude. Literally. So the thing is that the ceiling, it's very Red Bull Arena, and I've been there.
That orange lion looking reminded me a lot of the Red Bull logo.
You're really not wrong there. So, I mean, look, it is nice. It's obviously it resembles a lot like Red Bull Arena. I think Red Bull Arena, though, it kind of it's weird because they have these panels that go from the ceiling all the way down to the sides. It makes it look, I don't know, unrealistic. But this one, it looks nice. Now, obviously, for FC Cincinnati, they had to deal with Nippert Stadium the past 2 seasons. Actually, no, since they've been in the USL, they've been at Nippert Stadium. But playing in a college field is not the best, and we've seen it at times. They've had their issues with that turf. Toronto FC had their issues with UConn Stadium as well this past season. It's not the best playing in some of these old college stadiums, but FC Cincinnati this season, it's clear like they don't want to be the joke anymore. They're tired of everyone laughing at them. They went out and signed a stud youngster in Burner, and they're also looking to bring in someone to fill in as at number 10. They're still not sure who the hell that's going to be, but I mean, first, Justin, your thoughts on the stadium and like what's Cincinnati doing, man? What are they doing to their fan base?
That's a very good question. The stadium, for all jokes aside, the stadium does look nice. I think it's nice to see that they actually gonna have a decent stadium, one that's not a joke and players aren't sliding all over the place and kind of playing on a reasonable field. Will we stop laughing at them? One signing, splashing $13 million on a young Brazilian forward is not going to change that. Like, it's a step in the right direction, but if he doesn't have any service, it's the same issues they've had all over again. Like, he only scored 12 goals last season, and it's definitely not because of the players up top. It's because they literally had no serve. Like, the forwards had really no service. I mean, that team just did not generate any offense whatsoever. So, like, all jokes aside, if we're going to stop laughing at them, they're going to have to get some more pieces. Like, it's simple as that. There's no other thing I can think of that they're going to need more pieces.
Right. I mean, like, take a page out of Minnesota. Minnesota opened up that beautiful Allianz Field, Allianz Arena. And they started winning. They had a fantastic campaign last year. They did well in the MLS Spec tournament. They made it to the Western Conference Finals, and that's kind of what Cincinnati's trying to do here. I'm not buying it, honestly. I still think they're a couple pieces away. I don't know, something about buying a championship doesn't always work in the MLS, especially in today's MLS. Like, you need to buy smartly, and you need a complete team. I don't think Cincinnati has that complete team, but look, I feel for the fans. The fans were promised, they were going to be the next big thing. They were expecting to be like Atlanta, and they've been the complete opposite of that.
Wait, does anyone know what the stadium is going to be called? Please tell me. Please tell me it's going to be a Skyline Chili Bowl. That would be that would be perfect.
And if we can talk about that, I've worked a lot in Italian restaurants. I've learned a lot about Italian culinary from Italians. It's just something feels wrong putting chili on my spaghetti. It just doesn't feel right. But
and from what I've heard, they put
it's fantastic.
In that chili.
They put cinnamon.
Someone told me it's made a little differently than most chilies. Like, when I think of chili, I think of kidney beans. I think of a ton of spices, like 5-alarm chili. I don't think of whatever on our Skyline chili is. Now, people in Cincinnati tell me, like, it's kind of like, to us, the comparison would be like telling someone that the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia is Geno's or Pat's. Like, it's a good place, but it's not the best. It's definitely a bit of a tourist trap. So I definitely think that's what people are thinking of when they think of, at least Cincinnati people tell me, when they think of Skyline chili, it's kind of like that. It's the thing everyone knows about, but it's not really the best version of whatever they make in that area.
Listen, if you guys say it is good, I might try it. I do plan on going to Cincinnati one day, but I don't know. It just doesn't look appetizing to me. So we will definitely see. So Cincinnati's doing things. They're definitely doing some things here. Okay, so the next up, what I wanted to talk about real quick is everyone, welcome the TikTok to MLS. So I don't know if you guys heard out there, but the Portland Timbers had their secondary kits released today, which I should have probably got in that one.
I have some thoughts on that.
It definitely looked a little interesting. It's not what you would expect from the Portland Timbers.
So they've had a bit of like two-tone like down the middle. I like that kind of a style. What I think is really weird is like the stitching down the middle. Yeah, like you look at that. Someone said, "Oh, game time at 5." The favorite quote that I saw from anything I've seen was Portland Timbers game time at 5, run fair at 6. Like it looks like a medieval tunic.
It does.
I don't mind the halves. I actually kind of like that.
But what does that have to do with Timbers? Like the medieval stuff?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a. I do also joke that it looked kind of like a football. like I don't. I love the colors. I just don't love the stitching down the middle.
All right. Well, so I mean, it is what it is. But obviously, um, this is definitely what I wanted to talk about. But obviously, the TikTok being a sponsor is pretty crazy. But Justin, this is the first of sleeve sponsors. Am I correct?
I believe so.
In the MLS, at least, we definitely seen this in the Premier League has been banking on this. Some of these deals for sleeve sponsors are ridiculous, and Premier League teams have been taking full advantage of that. And obviously, look, with the pandemic, you're starting to see this more in America. If anyone is an NHL head like Justin and I, the NHL implemented sponsorships on the actual helmets. And that's, obviously you got to make measures like that because of everyone lost a lot of money last year. So if you can collect some sort of money with the sponsorship like this, then definitely 100%. Obviously you guys know, and I actually have it on right now. TikTok being in the MLS's sponsor is pretty damn cool. I must say it's pretty damn cool. So I guess first off, what I want to know, what are your thoughts on this, the sleeve and the TikTok? The next question has something to do with the union, but first, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't mind a sleeve sponsor. I really think it's like, again, that's the next evolution of sponsorship, especially with now. Do I believe that the MLS lost $1 billion last year? No, I don't believe so. But I mean, you're seeing it around the world. I mean, sleeve sponsors are starting to be a thing. As teams need money, as teams want it, like now, do I think jerseys are going to be like the European hockey jerseys or like a NASCAR car? No, but I do think that you'll start seeing more. I mean, the NBA's been doing it. The NHL is considering it. At least they're doing it on the helmets.
Right.
Like so, shoulders like more sponsors is the nature of the game. I mean, heck. The amount of times you see these virtual ads in games that mess with your eyes as you're like they have it on the ice, and as a player runs through skates past it, it like kind of glitches and you're like what like what's happening here, and it's strange, but it is what it is. Like I think the more you think about it, the more you realize that the sport is a business. Like you got to spend money to make money. Well, you also got to make money, and sponsorships are really the ways that teams are going to be making money.
Okay, so my next question: what would you like to see as our sleeve sponsor? If you could choose anything, it could be. What would it be? Realistic to it as well? What would it be?
In the Philly area, you got to go with like Wawa. If you're gonna do, think about it. If you're gonna do a local team, I mean, Artisano is like pretty. Besides like Amoroso, that seems pretty Philly, and I can't think of a more Philly sponsor than Wawa, straight out of Delco.
I would hope that they do pick something that is a big company around here, just so it could resonate with the fans. Because obviously, the average Philadelphian is not going to supermarket and buying Bimbo since they were a kid, a Bimbo loaf of bread, right? So it'd be pretty cool if they could highlight, whether it be Wawa or even Comcast, right? something like that. That way, the average Philly sports fan could be like, "Oh, yo, they got Comcast on the sleeve of their jersey. Yo, but I'll take 2 of those, right?" So that would definitely bring some sort of recognition for us, guys. Definitely. AK Gaming is liking the idea. Listen, I understand this is a business. In fact of the matter, this is a business. So if this can help our franchises that we love dearly make some money without affecting anything really on the play of the game, I'm down for it. Really, it's a sleeve. It's just a sleeve. It's all it is. It's just a sleeve. So I'm definitely down for the idea here. We got some good questions here on in the questionnaire here, guys. Keep sending over those questions. This is a good one for you, Justin. AK Gaming wants to know: do you think Inter Miami have high expectations? Ooh, good one. Go on.
Yes, 100%. They wouldn't have fired Diego Alonso had they not had high expectations. They wouldn't have had high expectations if they didn't, they signed Blaise Matuidi and Gonzalo Higuain and Rodolfo Pizarro, and now I believe they signed Ryan Shawcross, the former Stoke City defender. Like, it's very clear that team has high expectations. It's whether they're going to live up to those expectations. I still think no, but they have high expectations. It's whether they're going to live up to those expectations.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. So for me and Inter Miami, I believe that it's they're going to have their expectations. You know, when you're David Beckham, and you know you bring all this freaking hype around your franchise or your club, I should say. There's going to be expectations. Now, everyone is expecting them to make some big signings. Whether it be obviously that's not going to be before the season, but throughout the year, in the middle of the season, usually we have our transfer there. I don't know. They and it was interesting. Blase Matuidi did have some interesting things to say. You know, he is a champion. He has won with Juventus and PSG. He was with PSG right before at Juve.
Matuidi?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so he's definitely he's been around. He's been a winner, and I know he wants to win. And I do think that the expectation should be high for Miami when it is like that. But I want to bring this guy on because look, Justin, you know, for us, a lot of what we do, we want to build the MLS community, right? So here we have the WTF fan. We'll add him on here. What's going on, WTF fan? See now, little background, guys. WTF fan has been an absolute fantastic supporter. It's people like him that make this so easy to just have fun and talk about sports, right? And the WTF fan, he's got this classic Chicago Fire cap. I didn't expect you to pull this out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't expect you to have this fire Chicago Fire drip here. But kind of what I want to know from you here is why is it you are a big Washington football team fan, you are a big Chicago Bulls fan. Why does the MLS intrigue you?
So, I started playing soccer when I was like 4 or 5, and I've played like a lot of FIFA games, and I like that game. And then I played soccer for like a lot of my life. And I mean, I like to watch. Like I've actually been to a game before, and it like every time like a team scores a goal, it just like the whole stadium rocks, and it's just really cool how like the community is.
You've definitely felt it, I can tell. And there's been some good games in Chicago. There's a good soccer community in Chicago, which is great too, man.
So, yeah, I don't know too much, but I'm gonna get into it.
Hey, you got to start sometime, right?
Hey, and the Union connection to Chicago, our coach of the year, Jimmy Curtin, was a solid defender for the Supporters Shield winning Chicago Fire back in the day. But definitely not before my time. It would have been like 6 or 7. That makes me feel old. But yeah, no, the Chicago Fire finally, realizing that logo change was, well, not fire, and need to change it yet again. I would say at this point in the world, how hard is it to get a good graphic designer? Like seriously, Club de Foot and Inter Milan Miami, like it no one seems to be original these days. At the very least, no one seems to be any original whatsoever. So I said I'd love to see the old school Chicago Fire logo.
Yeah.
This picture.
See,
Johnny, you were getting awful close to the camera.
I forget you guys can see here too. I'm looking for. I can't find the picture. The picture of Jim Curtin in his time in Chicago. What years was he there? Was it 2000?
Yeah, like 99, 2000. It would have been. I think because he retired. I think around like 2010. Like I think literally like in his first season, he
played with some good teams in Chicago too, like DeMarcus.
Oh yeah,
McBride. No, not McBride.
They had some. No, McBride was Columbus. No,
okay, I'm not gonna lie. If you never mentioned about the logo change, I would have never knew that. So I didn't even know they changed their logo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, the logo that was so bad that everyone bullied them into changing it, and they're going to change it not this year, but for the next season.
Yeah, this logo, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, no, it definitely was not a good one. Definitely not at all. That's why I pray the union. Like, when they were teasing the New Jersey, people were like, "Oh, are you doing a color change?" I'm like, "Well, no, probably the colors related to the New Jersey," and sure enough, they were.
No, I like the Union's. I like their logo. I'm not gonna lie. I like the snake.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm glad they went back to a creative jersey, because with all the plain white jerseys with MLS these days, and the BS explanations that seem to go on with, oh well, there's this marbling or ingrain, like if you can't see it, what's gonna matter? I don't care if it's you stenciled something. If you can't see it, it's just an all white jersey. It's like, yeah, there we go, Jimmy, our boy Jimmy. He's
I couldn't find. I wanted to see.
He's like, I don't know, like if you like the one of the first times I met him, I took a picture with him. I looked and I was like, he. I don't know why he doesn't look as tall as he like it. I honestly don't understand. Like the dude's tall. Definitely understand why he was a center back. He's really deceptively tall.
Zach Thornton was on that team as well. I remember that. Okay, here's the good. Oh, this one is going to hurt you, Justin. Oh, my God. This was going to hurt Union fans in general. So look at this one. Hold on. Come on, here we go. Bottom left.
Oh, my.
All right, so I know you don't know what's going on, WTF fan. So bottom left, the guy crouched with the yellow armband, the captain's band. That was the Philadelphia Union's first coach. And let's just say, did not end very pretty. So,
yeah. Let's just say this. There are a lot of stories about. Yeah, it gets real weird when you talk about Peter Novak.
Wait, Justin, next to Peter Novak, is that Pochettino? That looks a little like Pochettino.
I don't think that Pochettino played like Real Sociedad and PSG. I don't think that's Mauricio Pochettino.
And another question, is Eric Winalda in the other side of this picture crouched? That looks like him too. Or did he not play for Chicago?
I don't think he played for Chicago. I thought he played. Did he play for Tampa?
He played a couple teams. San Jose, I know he played for. I think he played for DC for a minute. Above him, I believe that's Bocanegra, right?
Stewart was a DC player.
Is Bocanegra right on top of that Winalda looking dude? Number 4, it looks like.
I don't know. I'd have to. What year was this? Was this picture?
This looks like it says it says play. It doesn't actually. Oh wait, doesn't really say here. 2002. Looks like the 2002 team. These were so yeah.
Okay, so let's look at. I know Carlos Bocanegra was Josh Wolf. Wow,
I'm here. I'm
Ante Razov, Carlos Bocanegra. Wow, DeMarcus Beasley was Jesse Marsh, Risto Stoikov. Oh my God, that's Chris Armas was on that team.
Yeah, Chris Armas was.
Wow,
Really
that
good.
is. Yeah, Peter Novak. Wow, let me look at it.
WTFN, these were some of the bright days of the Chicago. So when they came in the league, they started off really well. Like from 97 till what would you say, like 05, 06, they were really good, right?
I say even like 07, 08, like they were good for a while.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, no, that yeah. I just realized that's a very, very young DeMarcus Beasley. That was the second guy from the right. WTF, let's just say that a lot of those guys are like these stalwarts and building blocks of US soccer and MLS. DeMarcus Beasley, the running joke, and I still say it to this day, is that DeMarcus Beasley was going to be playing on the World Cup roster like 2046. Like he was the dude that everyone was He was a good midfielder, really fast midfielder that when he started to slow his speed, just became a defender, and it was a quick kind of one of the earlier wing backs. Dude was good. Josh Wolf was a pretty damn good forward. Ante Razov was another good
one.
Forward. Chris Armas was basically like our El Brujo, a huge box to box midfielder, destroyer. Peter Novak, I think, is just as nuts as he was as a coach. I've heard some stories as a player and as a coach, but
yeah, man.
WTF,
do you have any other questions for us here?
I want to ask you one question. Can I ask a question about football?
Sure, we'll answer a quick one.
So did you hear about Washington releasing their new name?
They got a new name?
Well, I guess they posted. I think it was on Twitter. They said it was like new era, new name.
Oh, so like a teaser.
Yeah. So if you were Washington, out of any name, what would you want the name to be?
Well, I mean, I've answered this before. I think you guys need to get back to your roots with the Hogs. You need to find a way to implement that into your new name. That's got history, especially for a lot of those old head Washington fans. They would I feel like, for a lot of fans, I mean, for me personally, I think it was the absolute right move to change the name. But for a lot of fans, I understand what that history of the team name means to them. But I feel like if they were able to implement the Hogs, you can't be mad at the fact that they kind of changed the way. What do you think, Justin? You got anything on the football team?
I just love that they have no name.
We're soccer guys. We're used to this.
Yeah, like it was I can't believe a team. It's like
we know what this is like.
I would love to see them. I know it's take a page out of that book. Goes like the Washington Generals. Just keep it basic. Keep it. They don't need to do anything crazy. Like Washington. You have National Washington like Senators. Like I have something back to like. I mean, you are the nation's capital after all.
Right.
Try to tie it back to something like that. That's why you have the Washington Nationals. And the Washington Capitals as your baseball and your hockey teams. So keep it kind of in that theme.
The Wizards is a little weird. It doesn't really make awesome stuff. Hey, WTF, listen, listen. It's always great to catch up with you, and you know why I cover the MLS, and seeing someone as young as you you're actually trying. That really means a lot to me. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm always here for you, man, and keep punching away, brother. Keep punching away.
Hey, I appreciate you guys for letting me on.
Absolutely.
And do you guys do this every Tuesday?
Yeah, so
every Tuesday.
as you know, Monday, Philly Sports Guy and do our Philly Sports Talk. Tuesday is soccer for me. This is the Philly Sports Network podcast. So Justin, and we usually have our other co-host Tim. He's not here tonight, but he'll be back next week. But yeah, we're here every Tuesday. So if you have like that itching like Chicago Fire question, come back next week and we'll definitely answer for you. I don't know if we'll have guests on every single week. We have like an extensive like game plan every week when it comes to our podcast, but we'll definitely try. We'll see how we can implement that as well. But for you, my man, absolutely, come on in. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you guys, and y'all have a good night.
You as well. I'll talk to you soon. All right, brother.
See you guys.
Say it. Awesome stuff. That's a great. I love that kid. One more question here. This is a great one. This is a great way to end it here, Spotty Dimes. What does it take for the MLS for you guys to have a big following, just like football, basketball, baseball, and hockey? Justin, take that one away.
I
know how you're going to answer
this. That's a loaded question. Like, I feel like the more that this country, I'm gonna say that the more that this country, you know, has immigrants, the more that this country embraces its truly diverse nature. I think you're going to see soccer be even bigger. Now, soccer, I mean, people say soccer is the biggest sport in the world. There's no doubting it. And, you know, for all the people like, you know, Colin Cowherd, it says Tom Brady is the biggest athlete in the world. Clearly, obviously, he's doing it just to get a rise out of people. But, you know, it is what it is. And soccer is the number one sport in the world. And, you know, all of us here know it. We know how good the sport is. It's just a matter of time. I don't know when it will really, quote unquote, be in the main public, you know, in that realm. But at that point, like, you can only hope that it's a beautiful game. You can only hope it grows in this country.
Right. For me, I don't ever expect the MLS to be the biggest league in this country. I don't think I'll ever have those expectations. But I think realistically for us as a league, you know, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and then the MLS. I think that to me would signify its place in America. Right now, you know, you get the average sports fan, they're like either I don't know anything about the MLS or they like to trash the league because, you know, the macho man American mindset. It is what it is. But I just want it to be the fifth sport. And, you know, it was funny because the MLS Cup, I was clamoring the fact because I think there was it was a couple college football games on that night, and I was saying, guys, there's no other sports on. I understand there's some college football on, but this is the MLS Cup. This is the Super Bowl of American soccer. So for me, I'm watching a professional league championship over college football. I'm sorry. That's where we need to be, where, you know, if Penn State is on with the Union, I want to see Philly sports fans picking the Union over Penn State. That's where I need the league to be. And I think we will get to being the official fifth sport in America. It's just about and Spotty Dimes mentioned there, ESPN is sports talk radio. It's up to them to actually make their part. That's why we love Sean Brace and Joe Tanzi into Fox the Gambler, because they run a radio station. They run a show that is in Philly, but they obviously their thing is betting, but they do talk about sports topics. But they implement the MLS. That's what more people need to do. So that's all we're asking here for our MLS here. But that seriously, thank you for that question. That was a fantastic question, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on. We've been over an hour here. Time flies. It was a lot of fun, Justin. You and I we literally were just tossing back over a couple of topics here. It was a lot of fun. Definitely great stuff here. Just Alejandro Baldoy. I love that nickname. I saw it midway. I was like, that's that great one. That's great. Justin, any last words for our listeners before we hop off here?
You know, I still say the same stuff every week, but stay safe. You know, keep wearing your mask. Try to, you know, get vaccinated if possible. And I constantly repeat this. Mental health is important. And if anyone ever needs anyone to talk to, my DMs are always open. I'm always down. As someone who suffers from anxiety and has tried to figure out ways to to handle it, it can be tough. It can be challenging. There could be days where you don't feel like you want to get out of bed. It feels like days where you don't want to do anything. Mental health is no joke, and I know as men, we're not supposed to show emotion, but it's healthy to show emotion, and it's healthy it's healthy to ask for help. So anyone, and I repeat, anyone who's listening who needs who doesn't feel comfortable just yet talking to someone, talk to my Twitter DMs are always open at UnionNut26. Don't feel free, and I will more than glad to sit down and just listen and talk and get it out. But everyone stay safe and keep your mental health in check. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate those words every week. All our DMs are open here. Make sure you guys are taking care of your mental health. That is absolutely 100% important. Guys, you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much again. Guys, again, next week, same time. We've been consistent with it. 7:30 start time, either here on YouTube, at Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, or on the DOOP By The River Twitter account, live every week. Come on back next week. Bring your question. We had some fire questions we couldn't get to, but we will get to them next week. We promise. Stay positive. The Union will be making some signings. I promise you. Or once, listen, it's really just one more signing. That's all we really need. They will make that signing. Don't you dare worry. We'll figure out this. How he's going to figure out this crazy situation with the Eagles. The Sixers right now, I'm hearing good things. You guys love, I literally right after this, I'm going to go watch the game. You guys love spoiling for me, but I'm going to go watch it. I promise. They're going to knock off the Raptors. I don't care what the score is. We're going to get it done. Carter Hart is going to be okay. And Phillies baseball's right here. Spring training is here. And then the Union are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much again for listening, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, DOOP By The River Podcast, and make sure to listen to this wherever you stream podcasts. PSN Radio, check it out on there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Justin Freiberg, a.k.a. Alejandro Baldoya. I'm at Parcero Philly, and we are telling you guys to dupe on. We'll talk to you guys next week, as I got all this stuff, all these notifications I got to get out of so we can, it's like a little maze here. And we're done.